Hello everyone, in this video we will explore the JavaScript data objects and we will also see some examples and explanation of syntax. After which we will see the date properties and date methods offered by the JavaScript data object. And finally we will learn how to format dates in JavaScript with an example. Date and time are regular part of our everyday lives and therefore it is a prominent feature in computer programming. In JavaScript we can create a website with a calendar or a time schedule or any interface to set up an appointment. And this application need to show the relevant time based on the user's current time zone and also need to perform some calculations on it. To achieve all of these objectives, the JavaScript comes with the built-in data objects and its related methods. Social media software uses the date object to display the posting and commenting time for tracking the updates. The JavaScript developers use the data object to keep track the data entry times for different applications. Now let us see what is JavaScript data object is. The date object is used to handle dates and time in JavaScript. And it is a built-in object which stores the date and time. Also, it provides a number of built-in methods for formatting and managing the date. So with this JavaScript date object, we can obtain the year, month and day. And also we can display a timer on the web page with the help of JavaScript date object. With the help of date constructors, you can create a date object. And that provides the methods to get and set the day, month, year, hour, minutes and seconds. There are different ways to create a data object using the date constructor. The first one is date object. It will create a data object for the current date and time. And here we don't pass any arguments. And next we have a method which accepts a single parameter milliseconds. That indicates any numeric value. So it takes an integer as an argument which represents the date in milliseconds. And next up we have date string. And it is a string representation of a date in the format accepted by Date.parse method. If there is a single argument and it is a string, then it is parsed automatically. And next we can create the date with the given components in local time zone. And in this we pass 7 arguments. Only the first 2 arguments are mandatory. And these 7 numbers specify year, month, day, hour, minute, second and millisecond in that order. The year should have 4 digits. The last 2 digits of the year is also accepted. JavaScript counts the months from 0 to 11. So we represent the month from 0 to 11, that is 0 for January and 11 for December. Day is an integer representing the day of the month and its default value is 1. Hours represents the hour of the day. Minutes represents the minutes of time. Seconds represents the seconds of time. And millisecond represents the milliseconds of time. The hour, minute, second and millisecond default value is 0. And so far we have seen the different parameters used in JavaScript data object. Now let us see how to display the dates using the JavaScript data object. Here I am creating a variable and assigning the current date to it. The date function is used to get the string representation of the current date and time in JavaScript. And we use the new keyword in JavaScript to get the data object. And in this document I have a H element and P element to display this content. And here the word document is an object that represents your web page. So if you want to access any element in HTML page, you will always start with accessing the document object. Document.getElementById method will find an element by element ID. That is, the getElementById method will get an HTML element from your document with a specified ID. So in this case the ID is demo. Here the demo is the name of an element ID. Inner HTML is a property associated with HTML element. And it is used to set or return the HTML content of an element. It will change the HTML content of an element with ID demo. That is, the ID attribute defines the HTML element and the inner HTML property defines the HTML content. And finally it will display the date from the variable D. That is, with the help of inner HTML property I am displaying the date which is assigned to a variable D. This line will create a data object. With that we get a new date, that is your local machine date and time. And this line of code will find the HTML element with the ID of demo and set the inner HTML of that element to the variable D. So when you run a new date in your system, it uses your browser time zone and displays the date as a full text string like this. And next we create a date by specifying milliseconds. So we create a data object by passing milliseconds in the date constructor function. The date will be calculated based on the millisecond elapsed from 1st of January 1970. This syntax will create a new data object as milliseconds plus 0 time. That is, JavaScript stores date as a number of milliseconds since 1st of January 1970. 1st January 1970 is also known as Unix epoch time. This example will create a data object with a time equal to specified number of milliseconds passed after the 1st of January 1970. And here an integer number representing the number of milliseconds that has passed since the beginning of 1970 is called timestamp. It is a lightweight numeric representation of a date. So the date will be calculated based on this much amount of milliseconds elapsed from 1st of January 1970. That is 1st of January 1970 plus this much amount of millisecond will give you this date. And next up we create a date using a date string. So this will create a data object from date string. And here we are passing the date and time as an argument. That is, we are passing the string representation of a date. And this format is accepted by Date.parse method. A string value representing a date specified in this format is recognized by Date.parse method. In JavaScript, if you want to use the date string, you need to use the format that is accepted worldwide. One of the accepted format is ISO8601 extended format. And this is the ISO8601 extended format. The first 4 digit indicates the year and next 2 digit indicates the month, where January is 01 and December is 12. And next 2 digit indicates the date from 0 to 31. And T indicates start of time. The number followed by T indicates the hours, that is from 0 to 23. And next we have minutes from 0 to 59. And at last we have seconds from 0 to 59. Okay, let me save this and go for the output. If you live in an area that is ahead of GMT, you will get this date. Next we create a date by passing up to 7 arguments. So we specify 7 numeric values to create a data object with specified year and month. And date, hours, minutes, seconds and milliseconds are optional. And try to read the numbers from left to right. So we are inserting the values in decreasing magnitude. And we specify the year 2018. Here month is March because month is 0 indexed. And we specify date, hour, minutes, seconds and milliseconds in that order. As I mentioned earlier, JavaScript counts the months from 0 to 11, 0 for January and 11 for December. Specifying a month higher than 11 will not result in an error, but it will add the overflow to the next year. Similarly, specifying a day higher than the max will not result in error, but add the overflow to the next month. Now let's move on to the different JavaScript date methods. The date object provides methods to get and set all parts of date instance like full year, month, date, hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. These methods can be used with the wordings get or set before each of the keyword. Here is a list of date method to retrieve the various dates from the date object in JavaScript. Get full year is used to get the year. Get month will get the month from 0 to 11. Get day is used to get the weekday as a number from 0 to 6. And the get hours, get minutes, get seconds and get milliseconds will get the corresponding time components. And the first day of the week is always Sunday. And it is represented as 0. The get date will get the day of the month from 1 to 31. Note that these get methods will return the local time. The get time method is used to return the number of milliseconds since the 1st of January 1970. And these are the methods that returns all the values according to the local time. And there are many more methods that returns all the values according to the universal time. Let's see them one by one. The UTC method uses UTC time. Coordinated universal time is abbreviated as UTC and therefore often spelled out as universal time coordinated and sometimes as universal coordinated time, which is a standard time common to every place in the world. And the UTC time is same as GMT. The difference between local time and UTC time can be up to 24 hours. Get UTC date will return the day of a month for a specific date. Get UTC day will return the day of a week for a specific date. And next we have UTC full year. This method will return the year for a specific date. Get UTC hour will return the hours in specific date. Get UTC millisecond will return the millisecond form for a specific date. Get UTC minutes will return the minutes in a specific date. And get UTC month will return the month for a specific date. Get UTC second will return the seconds in a specific date. And these methods will return all the values according to the universal time. And next up we have set date methods. Set date methods will allow you to set date values for years, months, days, hours, minutes, seconds, milliseconds for a date object. And these are the following methods that allow you to set date and time components. The setDate methods are used for setting a part of a date. For all the get methods we have learned, there is a corresponding set method, where the get method is used to retrieve a specific component from a date, and set method is used to modify components of a date. SetDate method will set the day as a number from 1 to 31. Set full year will set the year. Set hours method will set the hour of a data object from 0 to 23. Set millisecond will set the millisecond of a data object. Set minutes will set the minutes of a data object from 0 to 59. Set month will set the month of the data object. Set seconds will set the seconds of a data object from 0 to 59. Set time method will set a date to a specified number of milliseconds before or after the 1st of January 1970. So with the get method, you can retrieve a specific information from a date. First, we will see the get full year method. And this get full year method will return the year of a specific date according to the local time. The value returned by get full year method is an absolute number. The get full year method will return a 4-digit number. Here I am creating a data object, and here we don't pass any parameter to date constructor. Get full year function will return the current year. So the year from the above object is being fetched using get full year method, and thus it prints the current year. So with this method we can also return the year of a specified date. For that we declare a new data object with a specified date. The get full year method will return the year 2021. And next we have get month method. Get month method will get the month from 0 to 11. And we know that in JavaScript January is number 0 and February is number 1, and finally for December we have the number 11. And now you can see I'm getting 10 for November. To get the correct month number you must add 1 here. In same way other get methods works. Now we move on to set date methods. And we know that set date method are used for setting a part of a date. That is, with set method we can modify the components of a date. And first we have set date method. This method is used to set the day of a data object, which range from 1 to 31. The day value is passed as a parameter to set date method, and it is an integer representing the day of a month. And we know that new date will return the data object with current date and time. And here I am setting the day of a data object as 15. So it will get me the string representation of current month and time along with the specified date and its respective day. For example, the day value is out of range. The set date will update the data object accordingly. For instance, if I provide 0 for day value, the date will be set to the last day of previous month. If I use 40 for day value, the day will be incremented to 10, so the month will go for December. If the negative number is provided for day value, the date will be set counting backwards from the last day of the previous month. And next we have set hours method, and this will return the hours for a specified date according to the local time. The hour value is an integer between 0 to 23 representing the hour. If the value is greater than 23, then the date and time will be incremented by extra hours. And try the other set methods on your own and see what happens. In JavaScript, we have a built-in function called Gettimezoneoffset method, which is used to return the time difference between the universal coordinated time and the local time in minutes. The number of minutes returned by Gettimezoneoffset is positive if the local time zone is behind UTC, and negative if the local time zone is ahead of UTC. For example, UTC plus 10 will return minus 600. The value is not constant because of varying daylight saving time. UTC time is set by the world time standard, and it is same as Greenwich Mean Time. And we have a special method called Date.now, which returns the current timestamp. Date.now method is a static method of data object. This method does not accept any parameters, and this method Date.now will return the number of milliseconds since the 1st of January 1970. And the syntax is always date not now. And it is semantically equivalent to new date.getTime. Gettimezoneoffset will return the difference between UTC time and local time. It returns the difference in minutes. The number of minutes returned by Gettimezoneoffset is positive if the local time zone is behind UTC. And if it is negative, the local time zone is ahead of UTC. And here I don't pass any parameters. So it will take the current date while creating the data object. And here we are extracting the time difference between UTC and local time. and the returned value will be in minutes. And here I am having the time difference minus 330. Our local time zone is GMT plus 530. We know that UTC time is same as GMT. So 60 into 5 we have 300. That is 300 minutes and plus that 30 minutes. So we have 330 minutes. And it is a negative value because our local time zone is ahead of UTC. And next we have Date.now method. It will return the number of milliseconds since the 1st of January 1970. The syntax is always Date.now. And here the date now returns the number of milliseconds since the 1st of January 1970. Here is an example for date picker. By default, there is an input which is pre-filled with date. And once we click on the date picker will pop out. The date picker will be having year, month buttons to navigate to different years and months. Below the month selection, a grid of days will come. And if we click any of the days, the date picker will hide. And we will be getting the timestamp of the day. We clicked on the success function, we passed to the date picker. And that's it. This will be a simple date picker. So with this, we have come to the end of the session. Thank you so much for watching.